Yeah, because we're gonna have overhead maybe of that stuff and just fucking filler, pure filler, last minute filler. Don't judge it because it's last minute filler. If you want to be the AV person, you work on it. We're live now.
Ah!
Has anybody ever given like in the history of the world, has anybody ever given a cool fucking thumbs up before?
Definitely you haven't.
I've never. I could say for myself I never, because for people listening on audio, I just gave our live.
Welcome everybody. This is Extra Normal Podcast. I am your host, Brianna Kaye. Alongside of me is Christopher Books.
Good job. You really showed off
and
on
then,
that one.
From the lovely city of Buena Park, we have Perry. Hi,
Hello.
Perry. How are you, Perry?
I'm great. Let's go. Let's
Chris,
get
why are you
started.
so low? Are you sad?
No, I'm just waiting. You're the host now. I had my whole thumbs up chunk and you fucking gold. Oh god. No, I just thought like Arnold Schwarzenegger's given a cool thumbs up before, right? Yeah.
But that was like back in the 70s. Thumbs ups aren't cool anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. It aged out.
It's more like a fist
Good.
pump now. A COVID pump. What do you do
A
with
fist pump is
COVID?
not a
Elbow?
fucking cool.
You do an elbow
Elbows,
pump.
yeah. That's pretty cool. When politicians like do it because they're like, "Hey, we're being funny, aren't we funny?" With our new world order. Before we get into it, I gotta segue to a boring subject that Brianna's gonna tune out for, but I gotta ask Perry. Perry,
Yes.
what are you playing lately?
Oh,
Video games?
Yeah.
Wait. What did you think he was referring to?
Playing with
Well,
that big
I just really shocked me that he was going to ask me what video games.
What's your favorite
It
porno?
really caught me off guard.
I was like, wait, video games? What else?
Like, you want to know about my video games?
Find yourself.
You want to know about my video games?
Talk about cool. Give a thumbs up.
Wait.
Video games.
Awesome.
No.
Oh, we got a delay. Are you on audio?
Oh shit,
No.
sorry. I was streaming
Okay,
this
we
stream.
just got
That was me. I tuned in on my phone.
We did?
God damn it. No, we didn't.
Oh.
We didn't. Let me turn on the comments too. So, getting into it, because we gotta take off the training wheels a little bit, because it's been what, 2 months?
Oh my god, has it been that long?
Yeah, I think it's
I
been
hope
2
not.
months.
It has. Damn.
Well, we got
More than that.
was it when we got,
than that.
well, I got
More
sick
than that.
twice. I got sick twice. I've been drinking, so
I got
just
twice
FYI.
sick. I'm the
I got
host.
sick twice in 1 month.
Wow.
So it was not
Yeah,
COVID.
the fucking things, like things start opening up again, and all of a sudden we get sick over and over again. It's stuff,
And it's like
sucks.
stupid,
Let's
like
all shut it back
it's
down.
it's mild
I just
cold,
don't want to get a cold.
but
No,
it's
I
just
get
like
cold.
can't work. Like that's probably been the shittiest part of this whole situation personally for me, is that like, because I do hair, like I have to work, with the public. So if I even have like a small cough, it's like, people are looking at you like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why are you here? So
Yeah,
I
you
have
get
to
that leopard
literally
look.
take 2 weeks off, even if it's a cold, even if I get tested, just because I don't want to freak my clients out.
Yeah,
So-
you hear like it's an old running fucking gag. It's been a dumb gag for the past year and a half. But legitimately, it's a thing when you hear a cough in public, you go ill. And like I don't think all three of us are like COVID like scared. I'm not. I think if I'm gonna get COVID, I'm just gonna have it's
Yeah.
gonna be not fun for a little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
same.
It's not ill. It was always ill, but now it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Did you ever
That's
have
the media for you.
Perry? Did you ever have like legit COVID fears? Like you were gonna this might kill me if I get it.
Honestly, no. I'm a firm believer.
I did in the beginning.
To just expose your body and let your body do its thing, because
You're doing the
technically your
Dwight
body, your body should,
Perry, what games are you playing? You never
We
answered
never
the
answered
question.
that. That's-
We interrupted you
well,
What
yeah.
video
because
games?
we thought you just were playing with yourself.
Okay, so I've started playing a game.
So our topic for today is we're going to be talking about, we so much of our stuff we talk about is about abductions and what happens when you get taken up into the sky? And
Why did you even ask me? You didn't let me finish the question.
Yeah,
So-
dumbass.
You didn't even let me answer.
I think he did it on
it was
purpose,
for comedic purpose. But go ahead.
which
Go
wasn't
ahead.
comedic.
I see. No, you know what? It's fine.
Let's all
I don't
stop
wanna
at the
talk
train
about it.
station and observe, everybody. No, Perry, tell us now. Now that we steamrolled it again, steamrolled it once, let's steamroll it twice. What games are you playing, Perry?
Well, there's a big sale, so I was able to get like 3 games for like.
Oh, okay.
So I'm playing a survival game called Rust. It's a very popular game amongst the gamers right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a survival game where you basically have to scavenge and collect stuff and then just kill other people and loot them.
Cool.
Oh, that sounds very wonderful.
You're a big multiplayer guy, right?
Yeah, so I don't. That's not a multiplayer game, like a competitive multiplayer game. I like competitive multiplayer games.
Yeah. I'm the dad. I'm the total like single player like sad dad game guy. Like I like playing like the fucking PlayStation where you're just a mopey guy for about 60 hours and it's you see the credits and you get over it and you move on. That's my
Yeah, I
I'm
like the
a-
military simulation games.
I'm a
Or
very
teamwork.
competitive player too. I'm playing a game on Roblox, and
Oh.
it's called Royal High.
Can we talk about this Roblox thing?
And you have to compete in fashion shows. And I've gotten first place a good amount of times.
Brianna is upset. I'm sorry I went down this road. But Brianna is
I love it.
obsessed with fucking Roblox.
And
I thought you were just
probably
playing
am-
with your daughter.
No,
it was that originally. Originally
that's how it
was
started. Yeah,
it was that, and
She's
then
battling 8-year-olds.
and then
middle of the
these
night.
outfits and the hairstyles, like like
Oh no.
oh man, it's so fun. And then your body doesn't look like the boxy Roblox, like Lego. You look fancy and you look fabulous. So I'm all like I like get up and I have like, oh, I gotta go join the Fountain of Youth or whatever the fuck it's called to get extra diamonds so I could buy better outfits. Like it's so stupid, but I'm like so into this stupid game.
Wow, it's
Uh,
insane. Like, and it started out innocent. It started out you playing with Clementine, or we have.
I was doing it for her because I gotta watch her and make sure no weirdos are like trying to trade with her and they steal her stuff or
weirdos
or
like
friending her.
Brianna online.
So I was like the stalker, mom, making sure my daughter is not getting harassed by anybody, and if they made mean comments to her or anything like that. And then I just fell in love, and then I was like, yep.
It's insane.
And Clementine doesn't even like the game that much anymore. She gets mad because I'll win the fashion shows, and she's just like, what the hell? Why didn't I win, mommy? I don't want to play. And I'm like, well, I'm still playing because I just won.
It's the best part is not her getting upset at losing. It's when you get upset at losing to a bunch of like 7-year-olds or
Yeah.
whatever.
Because sometimes the theme will be like
That's
Halloween.
not fair.
Or it'll be like the theme will be like blue or whatever, so you got to dress in blue, and then there's like girls that come dressed in like brown, and you're like, well, why are you wearing a brown dress? Like the theme's blue, and then they win, and you're like, oh, and then like usually it's a bunch of friends getting together playing, so that's why
I'm so sorry we went down this road.
okay.
it's
So
fun.
that's so what is our subject tonight, Brianna?
So our subject tonight is about missing persons, and I mean, when we originally were talking about doing this theme, I was like, oh my god, like this podcast will go on and on because there's so many missing persons. So but like Chris like narrowed it down to like these 3, which eventually we can do some more. And I have to say like I want to congratulate you
Thank you.
because you did an amazing job at choosing this theme tonight. And I actually at first I was like not into it, but then once I started doing research and stuff, like I couldn't like stop listening to like all the stories like and the mystery of it all. So I really hope that you guys enjoy it tonight.
So we chose because there's so much whenever we talk about paranormal stuff, like so much of it revolves around like I had this experience and here is my tale. I really wanted to focus in on what happens when you don't come back. What happens when there's all these open-ended questions and so much of I saw when I was looking through this, I saw, and this is like hovering into true crime, but I believe every year there's about 600,000 people who disappear. Some of them obviously are found, but there's about 600,000
believe
people
it.
who fucking disappear.
So sad.
And a lot of times it's again true crime. It's like so and so took, this person or whatever. But
Yeah.
there's some real fascinating stories in history of a lot of questions and a lot of mystery and a lot of stuff that delves into what we discuss usually on this show. So did you want to start out with, so we have 3 cases we're going to talk about tonight. Did you want to start out with Granger Taylor, Frederick Valentich, or the infamous Roanoke colony disappearance?
I think we will leave Frederick, and we will leave
Say it. I know what you're going to try to say.
What?
Roanoke.
No, I want to do Roanoke first.
Okay, do Roanoke first. I like this. Roanoke is like, it's
because here's my reason.
Because
the other 2 I believe that were extraterrestrial related. So
okay,
that's the only one I don't believe is. So
okay, so let's
save the best for last, basically.
Perry, do you know anything about Roanoke? You could be honest. You don't have to fake it.
No,
Fake it till you make it.
The only one that I really had time to was Granger.
Granger, perfect. So Roanoke, you should actually, Perry, you should know about Roanoke. This just shows how much the U.S. history, education system fails us, because Roanoke is an infamous colony that set up shop in the States. I think 1585 is when they showed up, right? To what is
the
now,
first or one of the first?
They were one of the first. Mm-hmm. Especially with the English colonies, they were one of the first to show up in this brand new America. They showed up in 1585. Sir Walter Raleigh, which I think it was the first settlement in the New World. After it was after the first settlement. But anyways, they showed up in 1585, very early settlement, and they actually had the first baby
grandson
born in America of English descent. So they had the very first naturalized citizen, or whatever you want to call it. Of
British descent.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. There's a lot of people living here before.
Yes.
So this group of people showed up in 1585, right? And they showed up and they set up shop on a small little island right off of what is now North Carolina in 1585. About 115 people. I think who was the founder of it? John White. He is like we said, he had a daughter who actually had a grandbaby, was the first. And quickly they realized that they were running out of supplies. And so they sent essentially Daddy John White out to go get supplies in England. And obviously at the time, it wasn't a quick supermarket run. It took a long time to get back.
And it wasn't like you just had your cell phone to be like, hey, or texting.
There was no Uber Eats back then. So they sent John White all the way back to fucking England to pick up supplies, because they're like, we're fucked. Like, we have stuff, but we're gonna run out. And actually John White planned on grabbing supplies and coming back. He was actually stalled out because of the Spanish Armada. Mm. Queen Elizabeth said, no, you're not gonna go, because
plus, like, Queen Elizabeth sounded like she kind of had a thing for him too.
Wait, what?
She was trying to
saw that?
No. She was like originally, like, she sent somebody else out because she grew fond of him.
I know that she.
And then eventually she let him come back out.
Well, I know the official decree is like, we need all the ships we can fucking get because we're fighting the Spanish on this. I'm getting this. Real time. Once.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, sorry. Doing that. Sorry. Anyways.
Going live or no?
I just got out of live. All right.
Do they want to go live with you?
No.
Oh.
So go ahead. So you think Queen Elizabeth had the hots for this John White guy?
It didn't say that, but it said that she grew fond of him, so she refused to let him go back. So he sent one of his associates that worked under him to go back, and but then eventually in the end, when that guy was not successful, then he went back, and then that's when his family came. They colonized.
I think that they stalled out his ship because the Spanish. They're like, we're not taking no more ships. Like, the Queen was like, we need all the ships we can fucking get. I think we're getting lost on semantics over why he stuck around.
Well, no. He originally, she wanted to stay because she grew fond of him, but when he had gone back later on, then brought his family to colonize. Then he came back, and then she wouldn't let him leave because of the
Spanish
war that
War.
was
Okay.
that
So
was
you're talking
going to
about
be
the
happening.
first go round.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know what the whole romantic situation was before 1585, but he showed up, right? And they're like, oh shit, we needed supplies, and then he came back to England, and he was stalled out for 3 years, in addition to the journey, because of the Spanish Armada, and he didn't get back to this colony of Roanoke until 1590. And Brianna, you want to tell him what he saw?
So when he finally had arrived, so excited to see the firstborn grandchild, that was, the official American whatever, even though we know the history of what really happened. Nobody was in sight. And then the craziest part about it is that everything was intact. You would think if the natives came in and pillaged and burned, but everything was intact. There was no signs of any alarming. Their weapons were all there. The natives could have totally stole their weapon. They didn't. So for me, doing the research and hearing about it, you want my theory?
Well, let's talk about too also the fact that there's some two other kind of mysterious, puzzling things about what John White stumbled onto in 1590. When he showed up, he was expecting people to run out to come greet him, because I think they played music and stuff like that from the ship. Like, hey, we're coming. We're on the shore. We can't get there until morning. But when he showed up, there was nobody. But he did alarmingly, he did not find anybody. He didn't find any kind of, almost like when you look at a house and you look at burglary, no signs of burglary pretty much. And also too, he noticed no signs of bones either. There was no bodies. That's one alarming thing, is there was no bodies. But the only thing,
body yada 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 yada. Sorry.
The only thing he saw that kind of gave him any signs, he saw Croatoan on the tree,
written on the tree, carved into the tree, which leaves so many speculations. So here's me, when I put myself into these settlers that come into a native culture, I find native culture so beautiful, and one with harmony and one with nature. Me, if I was there, I could find myself going to live, even though it is a more simple life, especially now if we think about how sophisticated we are, to live more like a native would be impossible. But I think a lot of them personally probably maybe fell in love with the culture, and I'm hoping as they knew that the British were doing some fucked up shit to their people, I'm hoping that they became one with them and they became native. I do not believe, you guys know how much I believe in extraterrestrials. I do not believe some giant fucking UFO just swept these people away. I believe because they were already in cahoots and trading with the natives and quote unquote helping each other, even though they were fucking the natives over a lot. I believe that the only thing that would make sense to me, and because it was written, of the tribe was written on that tree, I think that they went and lived with them, which would make sense, because when you hear of there's certain tribes where they talk about the people being white, being light skinned, so it would only make sense to me, because I'm like, what native American is white? If there was crossbreeding, and if maybe some of the white men from England actually joined the tribe.
Well, I think there's some merit to the settlers joining the tribe. I think you've probably watched Avatar too many times to
oh my
think
God.
They're like, oh my God, I love your culture. I want to be one with you. No, they're
I do love that movie.
More than likely, if they assimilated, holy fuck, we're out of food. We gotta get some food. Let's just join them, I guess. Whatever. I don't think they were like, oh my God, I love the tribe next door. You want to move in? Like they weren't. It wasn't like a trendy neighborhood in LA. Like they weren't. Like I think probably. So a few things might
Well,
happen.
the natives, though, like even in this story, like they were kind. Like if it wasn't for the natives, the white man wouldn't have survived. They gave them food, they gave them shelter, they helped them. We were the ones that fucked them over. So for me to like, hopefully, especially the females that were there, no offense, like I'm hoping that they wanted to maybe adopt that lifestyle and seeing how beautiful the natives were and to live in their lifestyle.
That is a beautifully rosy picture of life that I don't think. So I think
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the natives were very helpful. Definitely for a period that they longer than they needed to be in terms of like trying to help out, you know, the colonists and stuff like that came over. They did get in some skirmishes, and I believe that John White actually ended up executing one of the close
main,
tribes.
yeah,
He executed. So there was a
chief.
lot of animosity between the two, or between the colony and everybody surrounding them. There is. Did you read about the map?
No.
So one theory is, so there's John White. So he drew a map of Roanoke and the surrounding area. And in 2012, I believe they looked at one of the maps he drew, and they looked at, I think, under radar infrared or something like that, and they noticed that he drew a star inland in invisible ink, like secret treasure bullshit, like Pirates of the Caribbean bullshit.
What?
So one of the theories
No
is
way.
that they merged with some of the tribes there because they needed to, because they're like, fuck, like we can't survive on our own. Like it's like clearly we.
And were these the tribes that they hadn't burned bridges with yet?
I think they burned bridges with a lot of the tribes, but I think they're like, John White's going to take 5 fucking years to get around. We got to like figure out something. Like, and apparently he did it secret to hide it from the Spanish. So this is the most mild mannered fucking topic we've ever done, because I think both of us are on the side of it not being a conspiracy. That either they left on their own, they're like, we got to get out of here, and they sailed away, or they got killed by the.
But there was no boats. There was no ships.
There was no ships.
And the craziest part too is that there was no body. So it's not like the natives just killed them and left them to die or whatever, and their bodies decayed. There was no remnants of skulls or anything like that. So, yeah, like I'm hoping that either whether they went with the natives willingly or not, like I'm hoping that they adapted to their lifestyles and, you know, did the right thing.
And there's been some fucked up things, like the etching on the wall with Croatoan. There's been, I believe, Edgar Allan Poe, one of his last words was Croatoan in his belligerent fate. I don't know if it's because of the lore and stuff like that. By the way, like on our banner, I don't know if people have seen, but and the friends out there on Instagram, if you want to call in, Brianna loves phone calls. We had a discussion about this beforehand. 626-733-8256. You can't see it if you're on Instagram online, but you'll see it up there if you're on watching us on YouTube or Twitch.
Or we could do right.
Oh, she's soliciting calls. She's trying.
Hang on.
Where are my Canadians at?
Call that number.
I
see one of my Italiano friends has joined.
Cool. So I know
one of my favorite photographers.
Roanoke is like one of the tamest like fucking disappearance conspiracy. It's like fun to think about, and historians are like, we love this theory too, because it's like it's the safest. It's not going out too far out there. Because legit.
Oh, you know me. I don't like safe stuff, but just doing the research and stuff like that, and maybe it's just the romanticness of me loving Native American culture is like personally for me, if I was like fuck, like we're because what was his White? His name John White.
John White. Good job.
John White.
John in the last name.
I feel
John
Smith.
John
I mean,
White.
he was the next
John
one.
Brooks.
I feel like John White, he had made this promise to these people that he was coming back. So after he had a bunch of setbacks, and he didn't come back for almost a year. Was it a year?
Oh, he didn't come back for 5 years.
Yeah, so there was like constant
3 or 5
setbacks. People at first, originally when they were talking about the New World and all that stuff, like people were like investing in, and they were all about it. But with all the issues going,
they were all about it when they first got there. They're like, fuck this.
But all the stuff, coming. So when he came
Sucks.
back and stuff like that, they're like, yeah, we're not going to give you any more money. So he like really, and then the war happened, so many setbacks. So I think at that point, yeah, like what do you fucking do? Like,
do you imagine the desperation?
I would be like, please, natives, take me.
Like seriously, like when I order something on Grubhub and I have to wait an extra 5 minutes, I'm fucking sweating. Could you imagine waiting 5 fucking years of your life for like
first
flour?
world problems?
for like the most basic necessities, like the paranoia of like he'll show up when he shows up. I mean, we might all die of some weird disease or starvation, but John's gonna show up sometime. He's gonna show up. I mean, I can't believe what that feeling is. Do you have any, Perry? Do you have any insights on this Roanoke colony, the disappearing colony that's infamous in U.S. history?
No.
Great job,
Perry. You have a green screen behind you, and you're not using it.
Oh shoot!
Thank you.
good job.
I've been waiting for you because I know you like
Oh
to
my god!
throw it in there,
Pull up the map,
but
the
nothing's
invisible
happening,
star.
and it's making me sad.
I know. It's been a rough day.
But there's been
I'm sorry.
there's been some wild ass theories about Roanoke that people have thrown out. Like, I think one of the things that contributes to the wild ass theories is that they etch something on a tree. Anytime you etch something on a tree, like that's straight out of a horror movie. Like you're just like,
Well, okay,
fucked
and
up.
here's what makes me mad is like, hey, fucking grandpappy's coming back, right? Like, fucking find your people. Like for me, it's like I would fucking get a fucking army. I would go and find the natives. Like, hey, like because they had at that point like they had a quasi good relationship with them. Like, hey, have you seen them? Like, and so I feel like no, I don't think they murdered them. There would have been blood. There would have been some kind of force. So for me, so for me, I'm like, I think they willingly went because they had no other option. And then that's why my conspiracy theory with you hearing stories about not Navajo, is it Navajo? No, Cherokee. They say that Cherokees are light complexion, light colored eyes and stuff like that. And so I wonder eventually if maybe they had gone with the Cherokee tribe.
Oh, Perry dropped out. Well, he didn't have any input on Roanoke yet.
But so, and like, I understand why there are conspiracy theories about this subject when it comes to extraterrestrials. Because when you think about like the Mayan tribes, right? He's disgusting. I'm very sorry, everybody that's live and everybody listening.
That was you.
But like for me, I was in the middle of talking, like, so no, that would be impossible.
Very
Shut
talented.
up.
You're very talented.
But like, so with the Mayan, we actually should do an episode on like the Mayan culture because I love talking about the Mayans. And so with the Mayans, they just ended up disappearing. So there's a lot of like controversy. There's a lot of theories about that. So I can understand why in this same situation, why people will probably be like, oh, well, the Mayans all disappeared. So what if in this situation, like, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, anytime you're going to have a disappearance, like someone's going to float aliens out there. Just someone's going to do it. It's it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. Let me throw up the Google Voice too, just in case.
Call me.
That open. I think I stopped.
If you guys want to like call in and chime in, like I love talking to new people. Like I live for meeting new people. I mean, in my industry, I'm always like meeting new clients, and I just love learning and hearing people's theories and opinions. So if you guys want to call in, it's 626-733-8256. Please, only like positive energy. And
give us your negative.
No, we want all the good vibes, please. Thank you.
I don't want any.
Please and thank you.
So yeah, that's Roanoke. The Roanoke is one of those like that's the fun thing about Roanoke. Again, is like, hey Perry. Hey,
hi.
Oh, hi Perry. Is that Roanoke? Is that the guy from Roanoke? Is that John White? One of those got to be John White.
Wearing pink.
John White.
The one in pink for sure.
He was pretty dapper. That John White. Great job, John White. Way to dress. It's like
all right, moving right along.
This is a conspiracy theory
We've got so many cool subjects to talk about. Like again, like I give props to my baby boy over here because he picked an amazing subject, and I'm really excited to get into all this stuff. So let's get into the next one.
Let's get into the more meaty. Let's get out of fucking.
Let's get into the crazy, when Brianna starts going crazy and gets into the alien shit, it's about to go down.
Which one do you want to talk about?
Let's
Granger
go.
Taylor or Frederick Valentich?
Let's talk about Ranger first, because I kind of hearing like his sister talk about him, and then the boy that he mentored, like I just kind of have like a love and appreciation for him. He seemed like a really sweet guy, and yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this.
There's a lot of fascination with Granger Taylor for me. You know, and it's like no matter what, so even if you take the most, like, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, like straight nose theory on Granger Taylor, like the most, like essentially what the police tell you happened to Granger Taylor, and we'll get into exactly what
police are thieves in the street.
Like, he's fascinating. He's a fascinating dude. So let's talk about Granger Taylor. So I think so Granger Taylor was born around 1949 in around Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada, in the town of Duncan, which is right next to, I believe, Vancouver, but it's right there in BC. He was born. He was a kind of a genius kid, but dropped out of school. Dad died actually pretty early. He drowned, but kind of an oddball dude. And
to the people that didn't know him, to the people close to him, knew him very well, because I was, when I had read, like, the people that didn't really know him, they thought he was quiet, and they thought he was simple. There was nothing simplistic about this genius mind.
No, Granger Taylor was a very smart man, I think, and he was, you know, I think with that genius came a lot of mental complexities too, for lack of a better phrase. You know, so that happened. So he was, you know, he grew up on a farm with his mom and his stepdad, and he was a master mechanical tinker, I guess you could say. Like, he rebuilt
engineering
bulldozers, and he rebuilt a whole.
He actually built his own aircraft because he was obsessed.
He rebuilt a World War II Kitty Hawk, right? And he was just brilliant, brilliant mind. But at the age of 32, he started to become obsessed with aliens and UFOs, and he started to really.
I can't blame him there.
I know you're. And he started having dreams about aliens and communicate what he thought was communicating with aliens. He thought he was getting messages from aliens, so much to the point where he actually built out of two. This is brilliant. Out of two satellite dishes, he built his own fucking UFO in the giant farm that he lived in with his parents, and he just hung out there. Like, he had a TV in there and stuff like that.
That's so fucking cool.
It was like his little.
I would have went and fucking hung out with him.
Homemade treehouse. But yeah, so he started, you know, there's reports that he started doing acid and stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. He did some drugs.
But apparently, like, when he had his, like, epiphanies of, like, having encounters with extraterrestrials, it was when he was sleeping. Which, I mean, on a religious standpoint, when you think about, like, Mother Mary, for instance, like, she literally, like, same thing. She had a dream. So did her husband, you know, like, so for me, it's like having dreams with angels coming in and speaking to you, like, which I, you know, in a sense they're not of this world, they're extraterrestrials. So for me, like, I'm like, yeah, that could totally happen. Like, extraterrestrials can totally come and connect with you while you're sleeping.
So yeah, he had these dreams, and he was wholeheartedly convinced that he was talking. These aliens were communicating with him, you know, and so he started coming. I guess he received a communication that his time was coming, and the aliens were going to come pick him up for a 42-month journey. The thing he did say about a 42-month journey before we start cutting off, well, where is he? He said 42 months they would take him away, but in, I think, human years, it was about 120 years he'd be away.
Yeah.
Because because you don't age when you're going that speed or whatever.
And light speed, it's different than here on Earth.
Correct. So
sign me up.
He started having these dreams, and he had the specific dreams like, this is going to happen, and they actually told him it was going to come on a rainy night, because the aliens in the dream told him that the extraterrestrials like to come during bad
Yeah.
weather because it essentially
You can't see the
masks, the
ships.
radar is hard, and
Yeah.
you can't see the ships.
It's very
and all
cloudy
that stuff, and
and, yeah.
all that stuff.
Mhm.
So he predicted that he was going to be going on a cloudy night.
Mhm.
He started changing his will. He changed his will to read. So he had a will that said, obviously, like most wills, you have, when I am deceased, Perry gets my spare dildos. Brianna ain't getting shit because she's mean to me. Sorry. But he actually changed deceased to departed in his will. So he was gearing up for something in his head where he thought.
Yeah, he wasn't like, he made it seem like these are for my people, but I'm not gonna technically die. I'm just going on this new journey, adventure, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so at this time he had this dream. He started changing his will. He became obsessed with. He would go to the library and check out any books that he could. I mean, I'm sure it was very sparse, but he would check out anything he could gather to, hopefully in the hopes of trying to figure out what a spacecraft, what that technology was. And he actually said this might be up your alley, but his theory, and that apparently the extraterrestrials gave him a sneak peek of what it would be. They said apparently that it would be magnetic, would be the power that they're using. That's what his dream aliens said.
His dream aliens.
Fuck
dream
baby. Dream big.
Reality.
He dreamed big. So he started telling his friends, like, hey, I'm going, guys, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen on a rainy night.
He knew, like he said it, he knew the day. He said it was going to be a stormy day. What was the guy that he mentored's name? The guy that he had mentored had talked about how where they lived, there wasn't a lot of like storms, that kind of like the weather. And so for that prediction for him to have, it's not like nowadays we look on our phone, what's the next 10 days going to be like here?
No, I mean, he had some insight in terms of like in predicting.
And specifically on that day, he was right about everything. The weather was exactly the way that he said it was going to be.
Well, I think maybe he was either right about it to play both sides, to play the, both sides of the card. That's not is that a phrase? Both sides of the card? I think it should be a phrase. Fuck cares. Both sides of the card. We're making it a phrase. But to play both angles, he said that, it's going to happen. The debate is whether he said, it's going to happen during a rainy day. Look, he disappeared during a rainy day. He was right. Or he chose to get the fuck out during a rainy day because he's like, this is when they're going to take me.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he started predicting that. He started talking to his friends, his dearest friends, about how he was going to be taken. And he was going to go on a 42-month journey. Well, this rainy day happened on, let's see, what was the date? It was on November 29th, 1980. And at that time, again, he was 32 years old. He went, had almost like a Last Supper at, what was it? Bob's Grill, which is the ultimate like fucking local diner name. Bob's Grill. It's either like something you'd find at Disneyland or like right outside of Disneyland or right in the middle of Dunkin'.
What happened to Perry?
I don't know. He disappeared. Like,
okay. Perry disappeared just like.
So he ate dinner at 6:30 in the evening at this Bob's Grill local diner, and that's the last time anybody ever saw Granger Taylor.
So Ranger Taylor had he was different. Let's just say that. So he painted his car like Pepto-Bismol pink, which of course, like the locals was like, okay, I already thought this guy's kind of odd, and then now this. So when finally they put out a missing persons, because I think his family was kind of in denial, like, oh yeah, you're just obsessed with extraterrestrials, like you're not really going to be going with them, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So when he did disappear and his Pepto-Bismol pink car was missing, they were like, oh shit. Like, so they like looked for it, the feds looked for it and everything, and it never turned up. That's like another thing.
Yeah. So they tried to, so he disappeared. Nobody saw him after that. And it was a missing case forever. And I know that his mom, and his friend assumed that he actually went. They thought, okay, well, he made this prediction. He went.
Right.
Cut to 6 years in the future, right? 6 years after this, in 1986, they were doing some work in a forested area, And can we actually let's back up because I want to read this.
Take that and rewind it back.
And we'll this is the magic of editing. One of the bizarre things too that with Granger Taylor is that he wrote a note before the last words he said to his mother and stepfather were in written form, and he wrote on a note and put it on his door, and it said, "Dear mother and father, I have gone away to walk aboard an alien spaceship, as reoccurring dreams assured a 42-month interstellar voyage to explore the vast universe, then return. I am leaving behind all my possessions to you, as I will no longer require the use of any. Please use the instructions in my will as a guide to help. Loves, Granger." So that's the last words that they heard, that his mother and stepfather heard from Granger before he disappeared. And let's jump to 1986. So Granger is gone. Like, everybody's just assumed, most people assume that he was something, he moved away secretly or whatever. There was actually a lot of UFO sightings, so there was some suspicion in the town that he was in fact right. But in 1986, while a construction crew was doing a little work in the mountains, someone saw a blast site, and they were like, "Well, this is weird. There's a blast site in the middle of the forest. Let me call the authorities." So they called the authorities, and they did some digging, and they found a blue truck that was blasted out. I think they found a license plate in a tree and a tire embedded in a tree, and they found some bones as well on the site. Well, that was, but they found it in 1986. 1986, it was before DNA testing was the thing. So they're like, these are bones. They look human. I don't know. And mysteriously, I mean, I don't know if there's a government cover up with this, but like, it sounds like more police just fuck up the bones are no longer. Nobody knows where the bones are. They're like, we don't know. Like, it's in the police file. We lost it, which is not that surprising for fucking files. People lose files all the time. I don't think this was a grand cover up, but the wonderful Duncan police lost the bones, and they got tested at the time, and they're like, these are human bones, whatever. And there's some back and forth whether the truck is his, because there's reports out there that the VIN matched his truck, but there's also some conflicting reports, and also the what you said is that he had a bright fucking pink Datsun truck, right? It's pink. Like,
which if they found it maybe 6 years later, and I mean, I feel like even then it might be rusty and all that, but it would still have some residue of like the Pepto-Bismol pink.
So apparently it was blue. One of the theories. So to play both cards, I'm gonna make that work. I'm gonna make that fucking phrase work. Is that one of the theories is I know that his best friend is like that truck they found is blue. Like, his was pink and ain't him. Like, he's either in outer space or there's some theories that he got kidnapped by the government, and he had to work for the government because he was such a brilliant mind. But also there is apparently the police, the car was registered in blue. So the police, there's some reports that the police are just fucking lazy, and they're like, whatever. Like, it's registered as blue. It's blown up. We can't really tell the color. It's a blue Datsun. Yeah. Who the fuck cares?
But so they just assumed it was his car, is what you're saying?
Well, there's conflicting reports. Whether they...
Because why would they say it's blue? Unless they...
Because it was reported blue.
The VIN. So the VIN there's some conflicting stuff whether they had the VIN to confirm.
Like, when you like get, say, insurance for your car, you have to say what make, model, color, that kind of stuff. Like,
so they had the VIN number.
That.
There's reports all over the place on this, whether they had the VIN number or they don't have the VIN number.
We're getting some comments in. Let's see if they want to call in. You should see.
All there. He's talking. Someone's commenting on the amount of police buffoonery, especially when you're talking about files. Like, I don't know. They need to hire a dedicated file expert in these police departments, because they seem to be losing this shit. And I don't even one of my grand theories on this show, consistent grand theories, is I don't trust the government, but also I don't trust the government to be fucking savvy enough and capable enough to cover up shit. Like, I just think they just fucking lost it. I really do think they just fucking
Call
lost it.
in
Like,
to add your opinion. 626-733-8256. Call in. We want to hear from you. Yay.
I think my debit card number is on the back of that thing.
So.
Yeah, so there's conflicting reports on whether they found the VIN or they didn't find the VIN. I think you put that fucking filter back on. God
yeah, it's
damn
like it looks like we're in outer space.
Yeah, looks like it. Feels like it too.
Yeah, I open-heartedly believe in this situation that he was abducted, because I feel like he had several dreams telling him to prepare and what to do and whatnot. And I think it was taken. And regardless if they found his truck or not, I mean, what the fuck did the extraterrestrials want to do with the truck? They wanted him, so they took him.
That's going to get back to a theory. So there's a lot of like the last two stories of ours has a lot to do with like parts they found and shit like that. One thing that we need to remember too that I didn't mention earlier is that Granger Taylor did have dynamite. He did carry dynamite and use dynamite quite a bit, because actually at that time, fucking between like it's so bizarre to think like us talking about how backwards the fucking 1585 was, just how backwards 1980s was, and they might still be doing this, but it seems backwards still, as they to break up tree stumps, they'd use fucking dynamite.
Yeah.
And he lived on a farm, so he just owned dynamite.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had dynamite. We know that, and there's some theories about the rain. Dynamite can be unstable, as they call it, and it's just to fucking explode.
So you think he just had it in his truck?
Yes, I do think he had it in his truck.
It doesn't
and he's
sound
like,
very smart,
I'm
though.
going to go live with extraterrestrials. Like,
just drive around with
just-
dynamite.
let me just blow up myself.
Well, his friends and stuff. There's some reports that he carried dynamite in his truck just because that was his farm truck, and so he just had it.
I mean, unless he was like struck by lightning, like
that might have been it, and he might have exploded. I think that
I want to know your opinion, because
It was raining that day, wasn't it?
it was raining, and they say that dynamite
Perry
is
and
unstable.
Christopher.
I don't know. Yeah.
Perry and Christopher, I want to know your opinion, because you guys already know my stance. If anybody wants to call in, 626-733-8256, what do you think happened? Like, but as for, now until anybody calls in, what do you guys think?
I want to know what Perry thinks happened.
This is what I think happened.
Watch out, world.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I like the theory that he was so
You know what he says.
he was so smart and
You know what he says. Keep talking, Perry. You're doing great.
okay, all right.
He has to
thank you.
poop.
No, I don't.
Anyway, so I like the theory that like he was super smart. He could probably like the aliens wanted him to use him to whatever to invent technology or whatever he's gonna do.
Right.
That's super cool. Like, but I mean, do they really need a human being to do that? I'm sure they're already that far advanced. So, I'm thinking.
So wait. So you think that he wasn't abducted, or he was? That's really what I want to know. That's the real question.
I don't know.
I want a yes or no.
No on the fence. We're making conclusive.
Come on.
We're making conclusive decisions.
You're
based
on the
flimsy
spot.
Evidence.
You're on the spot. Yes or no? You have a gun to your head.
Sure.
Okay, we can rule out. Okay, let's rule out some things. Okay, let's just rule out.
Come on, I want Perry to answer.
Okay, let's rule out some things for Perry. Perry, abducted. Are we ruling that out, or is that a possibility in your head?
Yeah, he ain't that special. Like, he was cool for.
Ew.
He's cool.
Oh,
He's
like
he's
oh,
cool.
oh, because you're so special.
Well, I mean, he was pretty cool.
So do you think you're
but not cool enough for
worthy
aliens.
of
is what I'm saying.
extraterrestrials, or no?
Oh, an alien one. He's just.
Are aliens worthy to contact you, Perry?
She getting
not.
defensive. Oh my God, you struck a nerve. It's like you prank called us.
He was a really good person.
Nobody's
So-
saying. Okay, so
If
Perry
he made a
sounds
choice,
like.
he made a choice.
Okay,
Please call in 626-733-56.
I don't know. I think he
Yeah.
probably got struck by lightning or something.
you think so? So I think
Or something happened. because he was driving around with dynamite. Like I don't think he killed himself. I don't think he decided that he needed to he didn't need his body in order to be with the aliens or whatever that theory was.
That's one theory that I think. Well, I think that theory has some plausibility. The fact that he maybe thought like,
yeah, okay, because he was so like what do you call it? He almost seemed like he had like a mental illness.
Sure. I think he had some mental issues for sure.
We have like he's making his comment right there. Like I feel like sometimes, not in all cases, but sometimes there are autistic human beings, there are schizophrenic human beings that yes. And I feel like I understand what you're trying to say, like maybe it was some kind of paranoia and he was like fascinated about it, he was obsessed with it, so maybe it turned into something else. But I don't know, like I heard such great things about him that I'm like, he didn't like the guy that he mentored never mentioned the fact that like he was depressed or going through anything. He was just he was such a great person, and he was a mentor to this guy that dropped out of high school. He's like, hey, I dropped out of high school, come hang out with me every day. And he taught him so much. So, and the guy cried, like, so that's why I'm like, I don't think that he was in that state of, I've known schizophrenics. I have a father that's schizophrenic. I don't think that like he was in that state of like, oh, well, I'm just depressed today, so I'm just gonna fucking kill myself.
No, I think maybe there's some merits. So let's actually, Perry, I got one question and then I'll say what I'm gonna say. Perry, do you believe that his body was at that site? Do you think he died at that site?
I mean, if that was his truck, but I mean that's the problem, is we don't know if it was his truck.
Yeah, I mean that his best friend seems to believe it wasn't his truck for what he's just because based on the color apparently, and some other things, he seems to think that he wasn't there, and his mother actually thinks he was abducted too. But I think one thing, we can't conflate the fact that depression with the idea. I don't think someone actually in the chat mentioned Heaven's Gate. I don't know if the people Heaven's Gate, I don't know who doesn't know, but Heaven's Gate was a famous cult where they committed suicide to go to the higher plane to be taken up, right, by aliens. That I don't know if they were depressed at that moment when they did that. I don't think I think maybe Granger Taylor committed suicide in elation. He's like, maybe at that point he's like, well, this is how the aliens now communicated to me now, that this is how I go to their world, and I'm going to commit suicide. I'm going to go to a better place.
Well, so it's interesting what you said, that because Campfire Tales podcast had said maybe he thought that blowing himself up was a way to be with the aliens. I don't think he saw it as suicide. That wouldn't require depression. Yeah, very, very, very true. He said exactly to what you were saying.
Oh, awesome. That's good insight. Thank you for that. Yeah, and also too, I think maybe in terms of the suicide, let's talk about the suicide rate. And then again, I think I'm obligated to say this because I believe, like, I strongly believe in this. If you have any suicidal thoughts, reach out to someone. It's not novel. It's like I think everybody, I don't know about Perry, but I know people at this table have had those thoughts and stuff like that. And so reach out. But I think maybe also too, from the aspect of suicide, he might have went up to this. He might have had this dream where the aliens told him on a rainy day, we're going to come pick you up. You're going to get picked up at the prom when it starts raining real bad. And so he was like, he saw the weather and he's like, this is my day. I'm coming home, essentially.
But see, that's where it doesn't add up.
But maybe
he had some red flags, because, I mean, he truly believed that he was communicating and they were
wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and he said that on the special day that it was, most likely going to rain that day.
Sure.
It was the whole theme of that day it's how the extraterrestrials told him how it was supposed to go. And that's where I'm like, I don't know, like it's too coincidental.
Yeah, people can say stuff and
yeah,
and then if it actually happens, and then it's like, okay,
huge coincidence.
I know that we have some people who believe in psychics, and we have probably some people listen, and we delve into the world of psychics. I think whether you believe you're psychic or not, whether psychics are real, I think some of the charlatan psychics have the habit of making 1,000 predictions, and if one of them is right, they hone in on that. I think Granger Taylor might have got lucky and made a prediction that became right, and so people are like, he must have known. Sometimes that stuff happens. I think one of the things that might have happened. So two things. I want to give one perspective on suicide, and then one actually maybe that may lead some credence to your theory of abduction. Is I think one thing that might have happened. He might have saw, like I said, the weather coming down. He's like, this is the day. They're coming to pick me up. My spaceship Uber's here. I'm going to go to the mountains. I'm going to wait for them to come. And he might have been wholeheartedly convinced. He placed a lot of stock in this. He built his own UFO in his yard. He had dreams about this.
Yeah. And then, what triggered it all was the sightings.
Sure. Yeah, there was tons of sightings in that area. And he might have gone up there and said, this is going to happen. And then when he saw it didn't happen, he might have said, well, I have no friends. I put all my cards in this. I put all my eggs in this basket. I'm just going to end it all. That might have happened. I'm not saying that's my theory that I think it's.
That's super deep and super dark.
It might have. I mean, could you imagine the world where you have dreams almost every night where you think something's going to happen and you place and it's something amazing. Like if you think about the idea of truly believing that a spaceship's going to pick you up, that's a powerful fucking thought. And to think you're that special and to have like a dream that has a premonition in it, like this is going to happen. So this is the sign. And then that doesn't happen. And then you turn back and you realize that you don't have as many friends as you'd like. I mean, I'm putting myself as someone who battles with depression, and having that, if I had that, I might be tempted to take that dynamite. Real talk. And it sucks. Because Granger seemed like a sweetheart. Like the thing I liked about researching Granger is I'm like, I really think I would like this dude. Like he seems really fucking cool.
Campfire Tales podcast on our Instagram live said self-fulfilling prophecies. Absolutely.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we throw stuff out there, and even if we get an inkling, a clue, and maybe he found something that he found signs and signs and signs that led him up to believe this. And then when it doesn't happen, when you place all your cards in that whatever, or the eggs in that basket, and it doesn't happen, that's heartbreaking, especially when you tell your best friends and your family, I'm going to be taken up. Could you imagine that drive back down the hill?
No, for me, if that happened to me,
I feel for him. I really feel for him.
I personally feel, and I don't feel like I'm better than anybody else. I feel like I am not of this world. I feel like that I am truly a star child. Like I believe that, and I've read and heard theories and religions about us coming into this world as we want to experience the human experience. So we are actually these already spiritual beings, but we want to have the experience to feel like what it is to be a human. Think about like Jesus Christ in a sense. That's God coming into understanding really what humanity is, even though he made it or whatever. But so for me, if that's true, we are literally just living this life as human beings, not remembering that we're star children, but we all know when we look up at the stars, there's something more powerful. We know that there's a higher being, whether you believe in my God, a spiritual being. We all know that there's a higher power in some
aspect. I mean, I don't know if we all know that. I mean,
but I mean,
there's the other side of the table who's more skeptical about that stuff.
The Darwin theory, or yeah.
I mean, it's fine either way. It's fine.
But I feel like there's just, when you look up at the stars, there's something just so unknown and so beautiful and understanding. So I'm definitely open to the idea of us all being star children and coming and experiencing humanity. And then afterwards we go back to being our being. So we're literally going through this experience. But it's so for me, I'm like, I know that there's something, whether I believe in extraterrestrials. I've seen weird things in the back, in the sky before, which I've witnessed as he's on here, Lewis. But go ahead.
Okay, so I have
Why are you
enormous
typing?
amount of questions. I don't know. Harry sounds
Harry's
like
typing.
he's doing clerical work now. His office gig started 10 minutes ago. So,
Okay, sorry. I'll mute myself.
okay. First off, we have to unpack because
You're
one
unpacking.
of our co-hosts self-identified as an alien on the podcast officially now.
Me?
You self-identified as an alien. So what does that mean? Well, I mean, when you say you're a star child, does that mean that you believe you're born outside of this universe, or that you're of like alien stock, like there's interbreeding, almost like they think with Neanderthals? What does that mean to you to be
Like a
to
hybrid
label
or
yourself as
something,
like your definition of a star child? What does that mean?
Whoa. Like
what do you, because you just called yourself a star child and alien.
I'm saying I'm
does that mean?
open-minded
I'm just asking.
to that idea.
You're open-minded, so you don't
Yes.
necessarily believe.
I believe that God is real.
Okay.
The same God, I identify as Christian, but I believe in the same God that Allah is, and I believe in the same God that the Hebrews believe in. So
it's all Abrahamic. It's all
yes, it's all we're all a part of the Abrahamic
just
religion.
Different interpretations.
So for me, I feel like, and it says it in the Bible, that there are a lot of things that we don't understand and that we don't need to know until the time is right. So don't ask questions. And there's so many weird things in the Bible already about angel. I know about angels with hoofs, and they talk about cherubs. Like people think about cherubs like those cute little baby angels. No, they're actually like they have like,
are they like goat
they have
angels?
like human they have like the hoofs,
what the
but as feet, but then they have like 6 heads, and I believe or 6 or whatever, 4 heads or 6 wings or something completely crazy. And it talks about it in the Bible.
I gotta start reading this book. What is this called? The Bible?
So
it's called the Bible?
Yeah, it's called the Bible.
Okay.
You heard of it? It's a pretty good read. It's long.
I'm being televangelized right across the table.
In 1 year, you can get it done if you read like 15 minutes.
No, I can't. No, I tried to.
Anyways, no, but I'm saying, like, I know a lot of Christians will be calling me out and saying blasphemy, like you don't believe in the same God if you believe in extraterrestrials and stuff like that. But I'm like, to me, like God in a sense is an extraterrestrial. He's not of this realm. So, there's a lot of stuff we're not supposed to know. It says that in the Bible. So it is what it is,
Got it. Do you believe, and I'm going to poll both co-hosts on this. Do you believe that we have any alien blood? I know what your answer is going to be. Why am I even asking? Do you believe that we have any alien blood in our DNA? Oh, maybe it's a no. Maybe
no. I'm sorry. I'm reading comments too. I'll let you.
I was surprised.
Sorry, I'm reading. You can do your job. What was the question?
I did not know that H.R. Geiger. Oh my god.
What?
That H.R. Geiger originally designed cherubs. Wait, what does that mean? I need clarification.
Okay. We need to.
Oh, is it because of like the H.R. Geiger angle, like the monster?
Can you just call in 626 733-8256?
Hopefully, it will actually work.
Just call in and a better conversation about this. That would be awesome. Don't be shy.
Better than the one we're having.
He said that was a joke because of the 6 heads.
Oh, got it. Got it. H.R. Geiger.
No, yeah, it's like
I want to go to the
biblical
H.R. Geiger
shit, but
bar.
it's like it's the stuff in the Bible that nobody talks about. It's like the book that they took out of the Bible. When we talk about it, like they've taken books out of the Bible. It's all the weird stuff that people won't understand, and it's like, but it's still, if that's still a part of like the prophecy, you need to keep it in the fucking scripture, and that's what makes me mad about the Bible. There's a lot of shit. Don't even get me on the feminist shit, because making men all like authority and all that kind of shit.
It was written by men, but anyways.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of input on that. But like if you look at like Old Testament stuff, like Moses, like some of that stuff he did was like bizarre. Like in the context of like how we see like physics like in this world.
It's hard to fathom for sure.
It's hard to fathom. And Perry's on mute. So I was gonna ask Perry if he felt like there was any alien blood in our DNA. I'm gonna say
of course
probably
there is.
not. I'm gonna say
No, there's
probably.
already they call
They
it
wanna
they
fuck
call it
us.
alien DNA for a reason. There's a lot of stuff that they
No,
don't
it's just
understand
foreign
about
to their knowledge. I just don't think aliens want to fuck us. Why would they want to fuck us? Why? They got those like weird.
if their race is like starting to die off or
Oh.
whatever, they might need a little, little something.
Oh yeah, there's your movie plot right there. So Granger
Did I-
Taylor, I
wait.
think that.
What was
Can-
the question that you actually asked me? But then we got like sidetracked because of
I
these-
asked you what defines you as a star child. But I don't.
Oh, okay. Oh, so what I was saying is, we are definitely way more advanced animals on this planet, beyond other animals. We have such, strong intellectual capabilities, and such great advances we've made, And you don't, these animals, they haven't made progress. Like, you see monkeys and now I see like dogs talking on like they push the button and stuff, which I don't know if I believe that or not, but
You lost.
What the fuck are you talking?
Very you lost me.
No, but I'm saying like we can communicate and all this stuff. Like dogs and monkeys supposedly can communicate.
No,
but
monkeys can communicate.
Chimpanzees communicating.
Yeah,
Yes, they can sign.
they can
Primates are
sign.
pretty good
But
at
it's just like one word, or maybe 2 or 3 words. It's like
The dog saying "Iraru."
no, they have these things.
I don't know, Scooby Doo.
That I've seen them. Natalie shows me them all the time. Their videos of like the dogs will push a button and it'll say like walk or like go outside or treat.
Oh well, yeah, that's simple commands. It's like, well, this is what I want.
No, but literally, like chimpanzees, monkeys, gorillas, like they literally can communicate that humanity is killing itself.
Oh
like
yeah.
you've heard,
What about
like,
Coco gorilla? Like
yes,
they
No
taught a gorilla.
way.
yeah.
They taught a gorilla how
You
to
never
do
heard
sign
that?
language, and she's like, "You're
I
fucking."
didn't know that.
She said humans are their own worst enemy. Basically, like
No way.
we need to be
Yeah.
nice to Mother
I don't
Nature.
believe that.
Look at
Yes,
Coco.
look at Coco. She's
Coco.
real.
Not
Okay,
like he's
well-
Coco, the other Coco. the gorilla.
I'm just saying we're so advanced compared to most animals, and like maybe there is some kind of like alien DNA in some of something or some higher, that's been. Who knows?
Well, the only other candidate for alien DNA too, right, is octopus, because aren't octopus?
Okay, let me. Do you want to get into my
I don't know if we have
theories
time.
about
I don't think we're gonna get
aliens?
to
No, we don't have time.
Frederick
I think
Valentich.
we're pretty much out of time right
Okay,
now.
can I just
Can we give our theories
really
We're not-
fast?
This is going to be a part
wait?
two.
Can we really fast?
Part tour.
Do we have alien DNA?
Okay, octopuses are so advanced because they are shapeshifters. You can Google it right now. You can watch them on YouTube. They can shapeshift. I believe that they have the technology to communicate with us and through us, and maybe even some of
Wait,
them.
what?
And then maybe even some of them can shapeshift into humans.
You're talking about octopus, like
Yeah,
the
they
ones from like
shapeshift.
Finding Dory.
Go watch
I know
YouTube
they-
videos
no,
of shapeshifting.
I know they shapeshift, but how the fuck are they talking to us? What do you mean they have the ability to communicate with us?
Maybe they could do it all
Isn't it my friend?
telepathically.
There's that documentary, My
Telepathically.
Friend the Octopus. They do have it, but I'm not like they're not going to call you on the octopus phone.
Telepath
They're smart,
in the head,
you know.
in your mind.
There's the smart little critters, but I don't know. The way you said communicate, it sounds like they're going to call you up and say what's up.
Has
All right.
anybody, if anybody's like, hit us up on YouTube, Instagram. If anybody's watched the OA and the part with the octopuses, like, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, we're basing our scientific theories off of
No,
canceled
scientifically,
Netflix shows.
they can shapeshift. Like, we know that. They definitely can.
They can shapeshift. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. It's like
Yeah.
a whole scientific feat.
But think if
Or
they were
evolutionary
able
feat.
to go even further into shifting into a human form.
I mean, that
If
would
they
be
can make
take a
themselves
big
look like rocks and
But it's like color
plants.
shapeshifting. They're not like changing form. It's not
they
like
change
Clayface.
form a little bit too.
little
They
bit.
shrink and
A little bit.
I mean, what about
I mean,
evolution over time?
there's not gonna
Maybe
be,
they can. Maybe they are. Maybe it's
Okay.
a certain type of breed of octopuses.
we're off the cliff. Okay,
Whatever.
can I give one
Whatever.
before we get out?
No, let's go into our next one.
We're already an hour and 10 in. Harry looks like he's ready to tap out.
I have to get up at like 6,
He's
so
gonna fall asleep at the wheel.
I'm down to still go, but I'm also drunk, so there's that.
There's that. There is that. One thing that might have happened with Granger Taylor, I'm gonna give you a leash, babe. So you're gonna have a little leeway. One thing that might have happened is that it was part of a grand conspiracy by the aliens, right? I'm going on real thin ice here, but what if he got up to the mountain and he had his truck and he had his dynamite and the aliens came and they're like, well, we could pick you up, but you got to ditch the truck. And he's like, well, I have this dynamite. Let's blow up the truck. And they're like, sure. And they like the aliens and Granger Taylor had a little fireworks show. Who knows if the bones were from some other. God knows how many people were murdered in Duncan.
That's
God knows. There's probably a fair amount of serial killers in the woods. What if they left the bones or the bones are from someone and they're like, let's blow up this truck. They watch the truck blow up and they went off in the spaceship and Granger Taylor is like laughing up in the sky. No?
I just hope that Ranger Taylor. I hope that his mentor, the guy that he mentored, I hope that he tells the story of Ranger and he lets them know. So when he does come, we'll all be gone at that point. But
what are you doing,
stop
Perry?
banging stuff, Perry. Gosh. But like I hope that he will leave information. He'll come back and like he said he would. We won't be here to know, so it'll still be a mystery.
So this is going to be a two-parter, right? Because this is absolutely fascinating. I didn't know that Disappearances would get us this deep in. The bones for Coco. You never know. You never know. Is Coco's dead, right? Did someone bury Coco? Where's Coco? Does he have a little like gorilla grave? That'd be adorable. I hope so. One question I have for the both of you before we head out, and this is going to be a two-parter. I'm excited about the second part. So in this grand scheme, you're a Granger Taylor, right? You don't really have too many connections. You have a mother that you love, you have a stepfather that you love, you have some siblings that you love, but you don't have like a wife and kids and all that stuff. Aliens say, we're going to take you up on a 42-month journey, but it's going to equate to 120 years on Earth. So everybody, by the time you get back, everybody's going to be dead, right? It's going to be a brand new world. You're going to have to deal with 120 years in the future, whatever that may be. It might be Terminator, it might be Utopia, who knows? Would you?
I think go ahead. I'm already answering. I already know where you're going.
You know where I'm going. It's pretty obvious. I'm landing this plane pretty well. Would you go? Would you say yes?
Okay, here's
if it wasn't forced, they're like,
okay, that is such a loaded question when you think about if I was just a single person with no children, unhappily married or not married, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go tomorrow, But like because of where I'm at in my life, it would be really hard to leave behind like my life. Even though like whatever. And then I think even for Ranger, like I would get scared because I would like, how do you know to trust these beings? How do you know I know that like beings from other realms supposedly talk like telepathically, and it's not like they're talking to you like, hi, how are you? It's more like a feeling, like it's like a sense of just knowing. So maybe he just felt that sense of knowing that they were good and knowing that they weren't going to do him harm. That's, what I'm guessing what being a telepath would feel like if you could experience that. So, but for me, like first thing would be like, can I bring my family? Can I bring my husband?
No.
Can I bring my daughter?
No. So let's say, okay, let's do two caveats. Okay. You can bring one. Let's go with a single, unmarried, childless realm. Okay. You can't bring your family. You can't bring your mom. If
I don't have my daughter, and you I would go. I love my mom. I love my brother. It would probably be the hardest part to leave my brother. My mom, I love her, but yeah.
Well, hopefully she's not watching.
but for my brother would probably be the hardest.
What about okay? Then also let's add, what if they're like, significant other and any kids can come along, would you drag us to this fucking
If,
space expedition?
like I said, if I felt the sense of knowing that these were, if I was from that star child being like where, like I already feel like I'm not from here. Like, if I truly, madly, deeply, if I felt like all of that feeling of just the knowing, which telepathy is supposed to be, then yeah. But I would ask you guys first.
Thank you. And then also, last question for you
Wait.
before I throw it over to Perry. Would you go on the Roanoke? Not knowing, like, let's say that it kind of works out. Would you go on that? Would you brave a brand new world and go on a fucking through your boat ride and go to
Can you should answer that question for me. I just literally signed up to fucking travel into outer space. So
Okay,
like,
you don't have to get
yeah,
that way. I don't know why
I
you're so
would
serious about it.
totally be like, let's start a new colony on Mars. So yeah, to the Brits, like basically America was like Mars at that point. So hell yeah.
Mars.
I'm waiting to hear back if I get it,
Perry,
accepted.
would you go if you got offered the expedition of 42 months, 120 years down the road? You're going to come back 120 years down the road. Who knows what's going to be facing you 120 years? You might be literally coming to a rock because humans have destroyed the earth in 120 years or whatever. Would you go, Perry?
Well, first of all, I would probably pack my bags. But could I bring my computer? Would they have good Wi-Fi?
But they would have good. You wouldn't need to bring a computer because they'd have far superior systems that you could. But the caveat is you can't check in on Earth. Like you can't get the news like, oh my god, I don't want to come back because Earth has exploded or whatever.
That's
all
I need.
You can only check like space news. Like you could check on other planets, like the news on other planets.
No, I wouldn't bring my computer. I wouldn't even need that.
You wouldn't need it. Need it. Would you go to Roanoke? Pending like a favorable outcome, like not like we're all going to disappear, but would you go to a new world?
Yeah.
Here on Earth?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that for me, I know that you're all dying to know my answer, but I'm gonna say
Not really.
They don't have gravy fries in space. Sorry.
They don't have gravy fries, and also
what would you do without Del Taco?
They probably have a better Del Taco, but I think
so?
that
No.
Is there Del Taco in the sky?
I don't
now that's heaven. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no because you can't even get me to leave my fucking house now, let alone go on a 42-month fucking space cruise. I have to talk to these fucking.
He's very antisocial.
And the aliens are all talking to me in my head. Like I'm in my room and they're just telepathically fucking chatting it up. No thanks. No thanks. Not going. That's it. Goodbye, everybody. Aliens, if you're listening, don't put me on your fucking space cruise because I don't want to go.
Hey, Chris, can we go to Tommy's?
What?
Can we go to the Tommy's that opened up down in
They
La
have
Habra?
space Del Taco.
I'd love to. I'm there. Tell me when.
Sure.
Did you see they opened one like a few months ago?
La Habra.
Yeah.
Apparently they have a space Del Taco.
No way.
Yes.
Because you've been before, right?
Do they have nacho fries at that Del Taco?
No, nacho fries are at Taco Bell, aren't they?
No. Well, no, you can get nacho fries. You add the fry and then put like.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So one of our
it's called
viewers,
cheese fries. It's not called nacho fries.
That's how I order it. Fuck you.
So we have another opinion from the three of ours, and it says no way. The ocean is way scarier than space.
Probably. Oh fuck yeah! Especially at that time.
If you got the fucking Kraken coming in, because you hear stories about serpents and shit like that.
Yeah, what's it called? The Red Devil Kraken. Oh my god.
The Kraken.
Yeah, they're just like the jankiness of ships back then. Like, and you would just it would suck. It would absolutely suck.
It's funny, the jankiness of ships back then, but when you look at fucking the Norwegians, they got their shit together. They had some fucking bomb ass shit.
They had good ships, but even their ships, like, there wasn't guaranteed.
Yeah, but they were fucking all over the place, searching for something.
That's true.
That's another subject we should talk about.
The New World before we
did. Campfire Tales podcast, if you want to collaborate and do a podcast together, we've been like
We'd love that.
wanting to do something like that. So hit us up. Like, we're totally down. I think it'd be so fun.
100%.
We've really enjoyed you. Like, in the comments, I'm like a comment person. He's
I'm not really a comment person,
He's
but I like the
anti-social.
comments when I actually see it because it gets
Yeah,
me.
Chris doesn't pay attention.
I'm so
He doesn't
fucking.
pay
I'm
attention.
so
He just
fucking
talks.
simple-minded. Like
you're not simple-minded.
I just like if I look at the comments, I'm gonna get too distracted. And I got too much.
Yeah, but like,
Private.
and I'm usually like that too. But it's
You
like
just can't
mom
multitask.
comments, but you have amazing comments, so we totally should do like a collaboration.
I think so. I
Yeah,
agree. I'm in agreement.
we've been trying to like.
Chris just goes off on a tangent and then he can't multitask.
Fuck you.
Yes. Why are you doing that?